And one of the things when we were getting ready for this webinar you talked about was, if we had only known about social media, I mean, sort of the concerns that we're sort of like hearing now, do you sort of see this as a parallel situation?
Yeah, so I think anybody who's following what's going on in Congress is definitely scared about this. They had hearings last week where they talked about it, regulating it, maybe setting up a separate agency to regulate it, making sure that everybody is honest about the data that they're putting into it, what data they're using to train these language models on. I think the horse might be out of the barn right now for regulation. I do want to call our attention to two things. 15 years ago, when we gave people social media, we never could have imagined that in 2021, we would see a statistic like 25% of young girls have created a suicide plan. That is shocking and upsetting, and the researchers out there, they're not sure exactly what the mechanism is, but there's no doubt that mental health issues are on the rise for children and adolescents, and it's clearly starts to rise right around the advent of these tools. So I didn't know that. I have a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old girl. I gave them social media when they were about 12 and 13 years old. I have a son who's 14 now. He has not gotten social media because I learned from the experience. And it's scary to me that now, 15 years later, we have another technology that could be even more harmful and more scary. Chris Pace has a great line. He says, "I saw Terminator 2." So I think that, we should be paying attention to this. On Monday morning, somebody produced a picture of the Pentagon on fire. The stock market went down, but it went all over Twitter under verified blue checks. So if you don't know that people are paying for those blue checks now, you think, that this is coming from a news agency that knows what it's talking about. That picture turned out to be a deep fake, and it was AI generated. So it's scary. We're dealing with fire. I mean, we're dealing with fire that we don't let children touch, that we are very careful about, that we have regulation about. In my state, if you don't have a fire alarm in your house, they won't pass your house for inspection when you build a new house. So I just think that what's going on is scary, and I think that we have to be stewards of this technology and we have to use it in smart ways, but it's not ready for prime time. It's just not there yet, and we got to be smart about how we're using it and how we're applying it, just like everything else that we do.